Ryan Waters Sports Drive making a stop at the home of the Penticton Vees, the South Okanagan Events Centre. Ryan Waters standing with Vees play-by-play man Fraser Rodgers. This team winning the Interior Conference a couple of days ago over Merritt, which could have been a really good series going the distance, but it went 5 games, number 1 versus number 2. How come it didn't go back and forth, do you think?
Yeah, you said on paper it could have been a great series, top 2 teams in the Interior Conference, but I think the layoff, honestly, the 7 days between their sweep over PG and game 1 against the Vees. I know they won game 2, but even then, we're just talking, game 2 was a game that the Vees should have won. You know, they lost, I think, more than the Merritt won. Give them credit for that. And in games 3 and 4, Merritt, a very tough place to play this year for teams. Smaller ice rink, almost like a curling rink, I call it, the way the ice sheet is. But they gutted out the wins. 2 gritty, cliche playoff efforts, you know, a grinding effort. But I thought in that series, in those 2 games, especially in Merritt, I didn't think any time I was threatening that, okay, Merritt might win this game. I always thought the Vees would pull it out somehow. Took double overtime in game 4, and I think that really broke the backs of the Merritt Centennials, losing at home in dramatic fashion in double overtime, going down 3-1 as they call the swing games, right? So I think game 4 was a series for them. It would have been 2-2, best of 3 going down the stretch, 3-1 back in this building where the Vees were virtually unbeatable this year. You know, series over.
This team wins so much. Do they get angry when they lose? Especially in the playoffs. They did lose the 1 game to Merritt, and then it was lights out.
42 of the last 43 games they won heading into the playoffs. So a lot of people ask me, is this team ready for the playoffs in the sense what happens when they lose? We saw it in the first round with Chilliwack. Roller coaster, let's be honest. The playoffs have been ups and downs. And I think we saw their best game just passed in game 5 against Merritt. And it seems like when they lost against Chilliwack, they won their best performances of the year, the following game. And with Merritt after game 2, a big chip on their shoulder going to games 3 and 4 on the road, and just kind of controlled both games, you know, 7 or 8 periods, I should say, in those 2 games. And then last night here in a pretty full building, it was, you know, it was a beating against the Merritt Centennials. 4 goals in the first period, 2 more in the second, and the third period didn't need to be played, you know, the way, well, a lot of fourth-line younger guys getting some minutes. So this team is dangerous when they win, but it's even more dangerous or more threatening when they're coming off a loss. You know, it's, you don't want to poke the bear, so to speak.
Well, yeah, so you win in 5. Powell River, who you now draw in the BCHL final, also winning in 5 against Surrey. They win the Coastal Conference. So Interior versus Coastal, obviously, in the BCHL final. How do the Vees match up against the Kings?
That's a good question. They only met once, and it was actually in this building. They have a half interlocked schedule this year, so they only played a team once, so we never went to Powell River this year. They beat Powell River 7-2, but they didn't have their starting goaltender that game. He was injured. One of the top 6 players wasn't playing as well, and they were playing midst of an Interior road trip. We caught them on the end of a road trip as well. So I don't know if that was their best effort. They're the most dangerous teams at the start. I know the coaches were watching some video today and saying, you know, that the start they had against us, well, it was impressive. You know, one of the most aggressive and well-played games against the Vees in the early going, but it seems like the Vees have hit a wall. The teams hit a wall against the Vees, I should say, and the Vees had that extra gear, and then that's where the difference was. But now this team, Powell River, finished second in the league to the Vees. They had 40 wins. The only other team besides Penticton to have more than 40 wins in the season. 84 points as well. So 40-win season, very successful. Beat Coquitlam in 6 games, just beat Surrey in 5, and really controlled that series. They have an all-star in Sean McGuire in goal. He was named a BCHL second-team all-star in that category. Kent Lewis, 25 years of coaching behind the bench. He was a Coastal Conference Coach of the Year last year. It's their 4th straight trip to the finals for the Powell River Kings. Matchup is tough to say. They're a very well-structured defensive team. You know, goaltender defense out. They have some all-star blue liners. Very good 4 lines as well. Vees offense and depth, but also defense as well. You know, it's tough to say because Powell River is a hard place to travel. Yeah. It's a tough rink. You know, it's a 7-8 hour day with 2 ferries, so travel will be an issue for both teams. I can't see it going less than 6 games this series. You know, 6 or 7. Would not be surprised if we're standing here April 17th talking about Game 7. Are
the coaches talking about travel? Because you mentioned 2 ferries, the long bus ride. Yes, both teams have to do it, but Powell River may be a little bit more used to it because they're on the island.
Yeah, you know, Powell River, every road trip for them is a hotel night, at least one. So they have the most hotel nights and travel days out of any other team. Are they well conditioned? Yes, but in a series like this, we're going to play 7 games in about 11 days. I don't think you can really give one team an advantage. Both teams are doing the same miles. Both teams are staying on the same ferry, doing the same ferry trip, and, you know, having the same hotel night, so to speak. So it's going to be a factor. It's how you acclimatize yourself to the different conditions and the travel and the bus hours and getting rid of the bus legs and the ferry legs, and, you know, and the cheap questionable hotel food they sometimes get in your pregame meals. So I think travel will be a factor. It's a good talking point for us in the media. Really analyze it. The coaches will be nauseated by all the travel talk, but it will be a factor. We'll see, like, if it goes the 5, 6, 7 set. That's where we're going to see that fatigue come in when it comes to travel and hard play.
Thanks for doing this. Good luck this series.
Thanks, Ryan.
Fraser Rodgers, he is the voice of the Penticton Vees, Game 1 of the BCHL final right here at the South Okanagan Events Centre. If you can't make it, listen to Fraser Rodgers on the radio, all right? This is the Ryan Water Sports Drive. Thanks for watching.